Welcome to the HotTakes. This is the 10th edition of this series, and I'm glad that y'all have been enjoying this series. People have been watching it, and people have been watching it more on TikTok and on YouTube. I'm glad y'all enjoying the series. I like doing this as it allows me to just go on TikTok, and it's really good for me to look at the community and give my opinion on them. Welcome to the 10th edition of TikTok NBA Hot Takes.
As an NBA community, we are not talking about Larry Bird's playoff drops enough. People always put him in the top 5 when he really belongs in the 9, 10, 11, maybe
12,
even
13.
12 or 13. Yeah. 1982, negative 5.1 points per game drop, 8.3 true shooting drop, 3.1 drop in 83, and 8.3 shooting drop. 85, 2.7 points per game drop, 4.9 shooting drop. 87, 1.1 point per game drop, 3.5 shooting drop. 88, 5.4 point drop, and 7 true shooting drop.
What about like
It's the same
86?
86 is great. It's great, and that's why he's an all-time great. Like if it's not for just 86,
Yes.
like 86 or 84.
Hold on, but let me tell you this. Larry Bird will tell his opponents what he was going to do, and he did them.
Facts.
You're an old head.
Finally, I have been saying this for the longest time. When I started my basketball journey and I was doing research on some of these all-time greats and I was doing my top 10, I realized that Larry Bird has a lot of playoff drops. Larry Bird is a not a significant playoff dropper, but the thing people don't understand is when you're in a level of all-time great and you're in a top 10 level, you're going to get nitpicked and you're going to be shown things that doesn't compare to other all-time greats. His playoff droppage. Larry Bird has playoff drops. Like the man said, I already named him here. I don't have to name him myself. But he has significant player drops, and he didn't win until his point guard came to help him out. Larry Bird most of the time had to have a significantly good team to win a championship. Now, I'm not saying not everybody has to have a good team. I'm not saying that. When you have a significantly stacked team against other East teams, you're going to win, and that's what Larry Bird had. Not take away from Larry Bird's talent. Larry Bird is a talented NBA player. He's still 11 or 12 for me. I think he's 11 or 12 because he's above Will. So he's about 11 or 12 for me. But still, he has significant playoff drops. That's very evident that if you go back and look at Larry Bird's years from when he got there, you will see the playoff drops that he has, especially before he got his point guard. And then after he got his point guard, you can see the playoff. You can see him actually playing as well and actually win the championship. Can you need the help to actually win? That's why I always say about Larry Bird. That's why I finally put Curry over Bird, because Bird just had the longevity. But now that Curry finally is getting the longevity, I finally was able to put Curry over Bird, and I have significant evidence for that. Larry Bird is very overrated in the NBA community, especially by old heads. I don't know why he's like that, but Larry Bird is not a top 10 player. He is 11 or 12, and I will stand on that. Because Larry Bird is not that good of a player when you put him up against these top 10 players.
Do you think that Dwayne Wade is one of the best guard defenders of all time?
I don't. I think D Wade's overrated defensively. There's 1,000 guards I think that's better than him defensively. I'm dead serious. You had Tony Allen, Joe Dumars, Bruce Bowen, Kobe, Kawhi, who was way better. Gary Payton was way better. Mike was better.
Forward.
Sidney Moncrief was better. Tayshaun Prince was better. Shane Battier, Bobby Jones kid was better. Stacey Augmon was better.
Marcus Smart was a better defender than Dwayne Wade?
Yeah, he got Defensive Player of the Year. Lindsey Hunter was a better perimeter defender. Ron Harper, Ben Simmons a better defender. Mikal Bridges a better perimeter defender. Thibault a better defender than D Wade. Paul George is a better perimeter defender. Jimmy Butler's a better perimeter defender. Chris Paul.
Okay.
Iggy's a better perimeter defender than D Wade. Pat Beverly's a better perimeter defender. Rondo's a better perimeter defender. Luol Deng's a better perimeter defender than D Wade. Ron Artest. Doug Christie was a better perimeter defender. Definitely Clay's better than D Wade perimeter defense. Latrell Sprewell was a better defender than D Wade on the perimeter.
You know you're lying with that one.
Now the thing is, I don't understand why people seem to underrate Dwayne Wade sometimes. There's another thing about Dwayne Wade that I'm going to get to, but I'm going to talk about Dwayne Wade's defense. Now, I don't know if my channel knows this, but I am an avid Dwayne Wade fan. He is my favorite player of all time. I love to watch his game, and I watch him all the time. And when I compare him to other guards, because he named forwards in the thing, but he's ignorant anyway, so I'm not going to say it about the forwards. But when he talked about guards, most of those guards, Dwayne Wade is a better defensive player than. He literally gave a reasoning of why Sidney Moncrief is better for the defensive player because defensive player of the year, which yes, I agree. Defensive player of the year shows that you're a better defender, but Marcus Smart is not a better defender than Dwayne Wade defensive player of the year. We all know that Marcus Smart didn't deserve defensive player of the year last year. He is an overrated defender. Dwayne Wade is not an overrated defender. I feel like he gets rated as defender as he should be. Dwayne Wade is one of the best shot blocking guards I have ever seen. The way he gets in front of guards, and the way that he knows and anticipates how they're going to score, he's there all the time. Dwayne Wade is a great perimeter defender as well. He's literally one of the best guard defenders in the NBA, ever in the NBA, and you're overrating him. You're underrating him by naming some of these players that's not even reached the level of defense that he has. Like Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's not a better defender in my opinion. Chris Paul, I don't think he's a better defender in my opinion. I think Paul George is a forward. They named him as well as a guard, but he's a forward. He named so many guards. He said Klay Thompson, which Klay Thompson I think is an overrated defender as well. I think Dwayne Wade is a better defender than him as well, because when you factor defense, you factor rebounding as well. Dwayne Wade is an amazing rebounder for a person his size. He knows how to get to where to go, and he knows how to where the ball's gonna go. That's an amazing rebounder. He's a good perimeter defender, and he's a good shot blocking guard. He's literally one of the best defensive guards we have ever seen. And the fact that you're underrating him by naming some of these players that doesn't even reach the level of defense that he has is just insane. You need to go back, watch Dwayne Wade play, especially 2006, 2008, and 9. Go back and watch him play, and go back and see how he played defensively, and you will come back with a better take than that.
Andre Kirilenko is a better defender than Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett.
I'm not even going to finish his take because his take is idiotic. The fact that you say that Andre Kirilenko is a better defender than two of the greatest defenders of all time doesn't even make sense. Now I watched this live stream because I watched it. I'm subscribed to Player's Choice, and I was very confused by the title and what was happening in that stream. I watched the stream, and his takes was that he said that Andre Kirilenko is a better defender than him because of his help defense. Now the thing that I don't understand is if you say that Andre Kirilenko is a better help defender than Tim Duncan or Kevin Garnett, you obviously not watch these players play, and you're not watching these players play because Tim Duncan has incredible help defense. Also, Tim Duncan during his Spurs run, especially 2003. During these Spurs runs, he was playing in immaculate defense. He was literally the anchor of the defensive teams during those years. The Andre Kirilenko is not really the anchor of the Utah Jazz teams. And also, what I gotta say about the Kobe Bryant, the 4 shot blocks is 2 of them block shots wasn't really blocks. When you go and watch the games that he's talking about, and he doesn't even have secure evidence about some of these things that happen. I want to see Kirilenko lock up Kobe and lock up Kevin Garnett as well. I want to see these things. I want to see these plays before I make some kind of conclusion, because you're putting him against 2 of the best defenders of all time. As Tim Duncan is an amazing perimeter defender. He's a good shot. He's an amazing shot blocker. He knows how to play help defense, and he also can play semi-good perimeter defense as well. Kevin Garnett is one of the most versatile big men of all time. I have seen him go on the perimeter and lock up guards. He also anchored the 2008 Boston Celtics defense, which was one of the best defenses of all time. When you watch the Defensive Player of the Year season and you watch the games, you watch the playoff games that he has, those games, those defense he's doing, the switchable he's doing, you can really just watch 2008 NBA Finals and you watch how he played Kobe Bryant and how he played Pau Gasol. Yes, they both got their shots, of course, because they're 2 great players. But when you watch how he defended and you watch he was able to switch, and you watch how he was able to play help defense and anchor that team and know what he's gonna do. That is why Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan is one of the best defenders of all time, especially Kevin Garnett. I am really high on Kevin Garnett's defense because Kevin Garnett is literally one of the best defenders of all time. When you sit there and watch these games and you watch him on the Celtics team, especially the Celtics, then you will be able to see what I'm talking about. Andre Kirilenko is not even in those areas. He's not near a top 5 defender of all time. No, he's not.
Dwayne Wade versus Tracy McGrady. Passing.
Dwayne Wade.
Wade.
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade.
Wade.
We got handled.
Dwayne Wade.
McGrady.
Wade.
T-Mac.
The lateral quickness of T-Mac, I think, was far exceeds Dwayne Wade.
What?
Next, I have finishing.
Dwayne Wade.
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 Trace McGrady.
I'm gonna have to go T-Mac.
I got defense.
Dwayne Wade.
Wade.
It's Wade.
I'll agree with this one. It's Wade.
He got a better overall defensive rating on his career than D-Wade. So I'm going with T-Mac.
3-point shooting.
T-Mac.
T-Mac.
Mac.
T-Mac, but it's closer than you think.
Mid-range.
Tracy
Mars.
McGrady.
Mac.
Tracy McGrady is better in the mid-range.
Trace McGrady.
Mac.
Overall scoring ability.
Dwayne Wade.
Mac.
I think it's D Wade.
T-Mac.
I'm going with Dwayne Wade.
Who's more clutch?
Dwayne Wade.
Yes, Wade.
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade.
It's even to me because I ain't seen when D-Wade was clutch.
Now, I agree with Mars with most things he said. I think that Dwayne Wade is just an overall better player than Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady mostly just has the mid-range, but overall scoring, Dwayne Wade is a better scorer. And also the defense part, Dwayne Wade is a better defender than Tracy McGrady. The defensive rating doesn't matter. If you know what defensive rating is, then you know why that stat is kind of weird anyway. But anyways, Dwayne Wade is a better player than Tracy McGrady. It shouldn't even be close, especially the defensive gap. The defensive gap should let you know how good of a player Dwayne Wade is. As I've already said previously, take about the Dwayne Wade defense. But the clutch thing, Dwayne Wade is also a clutch player as well. If you watch 2006 NBA Finals and you watch how he played during those things, I don't define that as clutch, but I define it as stepping up when your teams need you, because during that final run, when he was able to lead his team back into some of those games, I define it as clutch. Also, Dwayne Wade is just a better player than Tracy McGrady in general. There should be no debate doing that. The only thing that Tracy McGrady has is the 3-point shooting and maybe the mid-range. That's it. But besides that, Dwayne Wade is a better player than Tracy McGrady. Dwayne Wade is a very underrated player to the NBA community, I think it is, and I'm going to make a video on it. Even though Dwayne Wade is my favorite player and I have a little bit towards bias towards him, I really feel like Dwayne Wade is still one of the most underappreciated NBA players of all time, because Dwayne Wade has amazing scoring ability. The way he was able to finish at the rim and the way he was able to get to the rim is unmatched, and I feel like people don't really know how good he was during his prime as well, because during his prime he had an argument to win the MVP. During his prime he had an argument to win a Defensive Player of the Year award. Obviously he was never going to win it, but I'm saying he was in the talks to have it because of how good of a player Dwayne Wade was. If Dwayne Wade didn't have his knee injuries and he didn't have significant injuries to hurt his career, he would have been one of the greatest players of all time. I'm not saying he isn't, but he would have been higher than what he was. So I feel like just because of the trajectory of his career, and then him also playing with LeBron James in the last half of his career, brings him down some, and people don't really notice and go to realize how good he really was during his prime era, which I encourage you to do. I encourage that you go watch Dwayne Wade, not highlights, full games. You watch especially 2006. You can watch 2006 NBA Finals on the NBA app for free. I recommend you go watch that and you go see how good Dwayne Wade was during his prime and how he was able to lead a team to the NBA Finals and able to play that good, because Dwayne Wade is able to do that and could have done that also multiple times. He didn't have significant injuries. So yes, I feel like Dwayne Wade is just better than Tracy McGrady in general. I don't think there's really a debate about it. I just think that tickets should be different, saying that Tracy McGrady is better in some areas, but he's not.
Leadership at all come up in your qualifications?
No, I don't think I've ever had the difference between two players and thought, "Ooh, you know what, this guy's a better leader, so I guess he's better." Because, like Dub said, leadership, you have to be there to experience leadership, and leadership comes in all different forms. Some people are receptive to different types of leadership. The way most people judge leadership, I understand why they factor it in, because they just judge it based on how far can you get a team to go with you as the best player. All of a sudden, you're a leader. That to me is just very dumb. So I'm not going to factor in leadership when I know I'm not in the locker room to know who's leading by, if you're leading by example, if you're leading vocally, if you're able to treat your teammates as they need to be treated. Some teammates need to get the tough love. Some teammates need to be coddled. How do I know what you're doing? I don't. I'm just going based on how far the team goes. No, that doesn't make sense. So I just don't factor it in.
I understand it to a certain extent, because I understand that leadership doesn't make you better than somebody else, because you lead how you want to lead. People say that Jordan and Kobe have very aggressive ways of leading and very aggressive styles of leadership, but it helped them win championships and helped them get through to their players the way they know they can get through them. So I'm not going to judge a player based on how they lead their team. I'm not going to judge a player based on how they do what they're going to do, because I'm not a leader on the team. I'm not a leader in the locker room. I'm not a leader on the NBA team. I'm not the best player on a championship caliber team. So when we debate who's the greatest of all time and we debate who is really good, we assess their skill set and we assess their skill set and how they played the game, not how they led a team in the locker room. Not saying NBA wise how they led a team to an NBA championship. That's different than you being a leader in the locker room and you being a leader in practice and backcourt. We're talking about that. We're not talking about you leading a team to an NBA championship. We're talking about the outside of the NBA, outside of NBA courts. When we talk about that, those are tangible things that people seem to factor in when making another player greater than somebody else, which doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I understand the leading part of it can make people jump up for you, but it doesn't matter to me. The skill set and how you play on an NBA court matters to me, and it matters of how I assess you as the best player of the team and how I assessed you in becoming an all-time great. Because we know that on some teams like the Boston Celtics, we know that Marcus Smart was the leader in the locker room, and he was the vocal leader, and he was the veteran. But we all know that Tatum and Brown was the two best players on the team. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to be a vocal leader if you're not the best player on the team. You can still not be that vocal and still be best on the team. So leadership to a certain extent factors in, but it doesn't become this big factor that people seem to do, especially when it comes to all-time greats.
Steph Curry ever win a chip if Brown's team is healthy and he doesn't get KD?
That Warrior team team is not the same if KD don't get on that crew. Because I think the Cavs smoked them in the finals the next year. I don't think they beat them. I think they smoked them.
2016, when they blew the 3-1 lead, I think if Draymond doesn't get suspended and Bogut doesn't get injured and Steph doesn't go through 2 injuries in the first 2 rounds of the postseason, I think the Warriors would have won the series.
I think that Steph Curry loses the one that Kyrie and Kevin Love. Then if they never go get KD, I think they mentally broke from that. I think if LeBron comes back with the same team and the Warriors come back with the same team, I think LeBron beats him again and again and again.
Now there's a certain level of doubt that I have in the Golden State Warriors team if they come back without Kevin Durant. But I believe that we don't get KD, we overhaul with role players. Because the reason why we lost 2016, which I don't know why people seem to put this on Curry when it wasn't his fault, because he was injured, especially in the Thunder series, but he was able to battle through it and help us win and come back 3-1. But the thing that people don't realize is Klay Thompson did not play good in the finals. Also, Harrison Barnes played horrible. He literally was one reason why we lost. So when we got rid of Harrison Barnes, I believe that us getting that money, we won't get KD, but the Warriors will be able to overhaul on some role players because we was up 3-1. I genuinely believe that the Warriors team was going to capitalize on that game. And then in Game 7, they still almost lost the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I believe that even if the Golden State Warriors and the Cavs came back in 2017, and we had no KD, the Warriors had no KD, they would have still got significant role players to help the team out, and they would have won the championship because the Warriors had a generally better team than the Cleveland Cavaliers team. The people who watch the Cavs and the Warriors series tend to only go to the best from the series, which yes, LeBron James is the best player in the series. He's the best player in the NBA at that time. But when you only look at him and you say that's the reason why the Cavs are going to win, that's not why. When you actually look at how each person played on that team and the role players they have on that team, the Warriors are a significantly better team than the Cleveland Cavaliers. The only reason why, which is not an excuse, this is just what happens when you play basketball. I'm not knocking the Cleveland Cavaliers championship win because come back from 3-1 is an amazing feat that nobody has done in the NBA Finals. Not knocking LeBron James for that. But the Golden State Warriors lost because Andrew Booker got injured, Draymond got suspended, and Curry was also playing with an injury. Not knocking the Cavs championship win. They still won. You play who's in front of you. There is no excuses when it comes to basketball. But that just happens. That factored in why the Golden State Warriors lost. If the Golden State Warriors come back healthy and they come back with the same team, they're not going to win. The Cavs are not going to win. I don't think they're going to win. I have the Golden State Warriors winning the championship. I don't think that the Cleveland Cavaliers will be able to beat them over and over again like taking this thing. I think the Golden State Warriors will win the championship every single year if they have the same team. They get rid of Harrison Barnes and they have significant role players to win the championship.
People got to remember, we didn't have Victor Oladipo or Tyler Hero for the whole finals, and we still made it to the final. I think if those guys are there, I'm not saying they win the series, but I think it's a different series. So I think Miami can compete even without Damian Lillard. But if we're looking to be a valuable, like if we're looking to be the favorites, be over Boston and Milwaukee, I think Damian Lillard's the only option. I think him, Bam, and Jimmy Butler would be instantly one of the best trios in the league. I think you can argue.
I think this is a very good team that needs one final piece to get over that hump. And Damian Lillard, to me, for Miami, I think he's the only answer in their offseason. A dynamic scorer alongside Jimmy Butler who can help them in postseason runs. Because if Jimmy Butler's not scoring, who's that dynamic scorer in that postseason for you guys?
Duncan Robinson.
You put Dame on that roster, like you said. That big three has defense and scoring. It's a nasty big three.
Now, first, I don't think that the Nuggets Heat series would have been that different. I feel like if Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo was there, maybe they would have won one more game, but it's still been the same outcome. The Nuggets would have still won the NBA championship, but that's whatever. I feel like the Heat needs one more person to win the championship. I feel like Damian Lillard is their final piece because the Heat is too dependent on Jimmy Butler. That's just how it works. They're too dependent on Jimmy Butler, which to a certain extent, he's your best player. He's supposed to be the best scorer on your team, the best player on your team. I understand that, but you can't be solely dependent on that player because yes, players have bad games, yes, players have bad times, and also players need rest. So when you constantly play Jimmy Butler every single second of the game because your team can't flow without him, that's an issue and that's a problem. So I feel like that they need to be able to get Damian Lillard, and also most of their role players are also gone. Caleb Martin, who was a good scorer for them, a good point guard for them, is gone, and also Max Strus. They need more players to fill this roster out. So I feel like the Heat is trying to go all out to get Damian Lillard, and they believe they can get Dame. But if hypothetically they don't get Dame, because I feel like Dame will inevitably go to the Miami Heat, because that's the only team that's giving a significant offer for them, and also the only team that Dame wants to go to. So if Dame goes to the Heat, when he goes to the Heat, that it will help the Heat out, and they can win an NBA championship. They'll be the favorites to win an NBA championship, and Dame will finally be on a team that is able to actually win an NBA championship. And I'm excited for Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy Butler has carried this team twice to the NBA Finals and played his heart out doing those series, but his team is just not good enough for the other teams he's playing. He played against the Nuggets team, who was a powerhouse offensively. It was winning the NBA Finals. If the Celtics made the NBA Finals, the Nuggets was winning that series. There was no way. The Nuggets were just a powerhouse this season. Then when you play against the Los Angeles Lakers, who was a significantly better team than you as well, he just goes against better teams than him, because his team is solely dependent on him, especially when Bam isn't playing good. But when you have another dynamic scorer, you have another player who they can depend on, it will help take load off of you and help you play really good. So I hope that he gets Dame so he can finally win the NBA championship.
Yo, I had to think about it, bro. I got Steph over LeBron, man.
Yeah, you're funny.
Don't do that. I'm not talking
that's
see, I'm not talking about it because that's how Crunch is. Crunch is naturally like that, bro, and it's always going to be like that.
Peak wise, you could argue Steph had a higher peak. As far as peak, I might got to go Steph. No, but think about it.
Man, wait, Crunch, you value two-way. You value two-way, Crunch.
I got you right
what
here.
Defense does Curry play?
Remember when LeBron won back-to-back MVP the first time he was in Cleveland? Y'all remember when Steph won back-to-back MVP?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So they both won back-to-back MVP, right? Steph and Curry won a championship and he didn't. Now, listen.
Here we go.
That's not the kicker, though, right? Somebody brought up defense. Stephen Curry did lead the league in steals when he did that.
Dude.
Passing lanes.
LeBron was the best.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
Passing lanes.
That's fine. No, that's fine, though. So what did LeBron lead the league?
And he still led in defensive rating.
What's defensive rating has to do with how good your team is on defense. And he had Ben Wallace on his team. Ben Wallace is a better defender than Draymond Green. Now watch this. Hold on, time out. Now watch this though. So that means that Stephen Curry is. So that means as far as being a two-way player, right? Steph led the league in scoring and led the league in steals.
Yeah, 2.2 steals, bro.
Hold on. So he averaged, and he also averaged more points per game than LeBron James.
Facts. Oh my God. He thinks he's cooking, Chad. Oh my God.
He thinks he's cooking, bro.
I just don't understand why you have Curry over LeBron. I'm going to address the peak for peak, then I will address the skill set in general. Peak for peak, I understand the offensive gap. If you want to say offensively, the Steph Curry peak is better than LeBron's offensive peak, yes, because Steph Curry has one of the best offensive peaks of all time. He is an amazing offensive player. But LeBron James' peak is better than Curry's peak, simply because of the two-way defense he was playing. LeBron James was the defensive player of the year that year. I don't know how Marcus Gasol got defensive player of the year, and he wasn't even on NBA first team defensive wise. I don't understand how that works, but LeBron James should have a defensive player of the year, which it doesn't make sense how he doesn't have it. That's one. And then also LeBron James' two-way presence on the Miami Heat 2012 and 2013 is unmatched. LeBron James was switching and was versatile during those 2 years mostly I've ever seen. LeBron James' peak is up there for me because of those years of defensive play he has. When people try to bring up LeBron James defensively and they keep on going back to 2018, I don't know why they're talking about 2018 and not 2012 or 2013 when he should have won defensive player in one of those years, and he played arguably the best defender in the league and was the best player in the league scoring wise and also passing wise. He was the best player. People had an argument for being the best player in the league in all three categories. That's not normal for an NBA player to have. That's one reason why he's better than that LeBron's better than him. Also, LeBron is just better than Curry in other areas. When you bring up that Steph Curry steal thing, when you bring up steals, you have to look at how they get them and what they do to get them. Now, when you talk about steals, people like to bring up AI also getting steals during his MVP season as well and try to claim a good defender. But when you watch AI and you watch how he get them steals, he's in the passing lane. Which yes, AI is an amazing player in the passing lane, not taking from him. But when you're talking about defense, there's other stuff to defense than you getting steals in the passing lane. Not taking from Curry. There's still some defensive level IQ to get steals in the passing lane. Not saying that they require defensive IQ, but when you're talking about defensively, when you watch Steph Curry not get cooked but not play good defensively on the perimeter defender on the perimeter way, and you watch him allow his defender to go inside the paints, that's not good defensively compared to LeBron James, who they was putting at power forward and also center to guard some of these big men that it was going up against in the playoffs. In the playoffs, he was guarding the big men, not just in the regular season. In the playoffs, he was doing this consistently. So when you have a player playing those type of roles and sometimes being the best defender on the court, that is different than you getting steals in passing lanes. That's just how that works. So, and then when you talk about Steph over LeBron, just all time wise, he brought up the back-to-back MVP, and that's why Curry is better than LeBron because both got back-to-back MVPs. Then he also said that Ben Wallace was on LeBron James' team when Ben Wallace was significantly less better player than on the Cavs than he was on the Pistons. That was a stupid take. And then when you just bring up defensively in general, you're not watching the same players I'm watching, because now Curry is not a bad defender now, but when he was back in 2014, 15, 16, he was an alright defender, but 15 and 14, he was not a good defender. LeBron James peak defensively is just better than LeBron. It is just better than Curry defensively. LeBron James peak passing, LeBron James peak everything is better than Curry besides scoring, because Curry has one of the best offensive scoring peaks of all time. You could also give Curry the passing, but when we're talking about just regular Curry, not peak Curry, prime LeBron versus prime Curry, prime LeBron has the passing and the defense, and Curry has the scoring. That's how that works. I don't know why you have Curry over LeBron, because that shouldn't even exist. Thank you for watching this HotTakes. I enjoyed doing this video. This is the 10th edition of this series. I'm gonna try to have more NBA essay content coming out soon. I'm gonna try to finish the search for the best LeBron series, and also try to work on some other videos I have in the works. Thank you for watching this video. Go ahead and like and subscribe for more videos. There's more NBA content is coming soon.